Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Isante Organic Alliance team meeting. We'll get some fantastic training from Mint, and then have, of course, have our team get some good information and knowledge and experience. And for those who don't know or not too familiar as of yet, Mint is a transformational guide, a trainer, leader, friend, and a business partner. And yay me, yay us! We get to learn a lot from her. She's incredibly awesome. She's been in the industry for 17 years, and she helps us recognize our authenticity, which multiplies our happiness and our success. So without further ado, Mint, it's all
Thank you
yours.
kindly. That's a nice
Absolutely.
introduction. Thank you. And just to clarify, I've only been in the direct sales industry for 17 years. My studies and research go back multiple decades, and I'm able to apply what I've learned in other fields to this field. And then I realized that these things that I'm learning and I'm teaching, they're good for everybody all the time. For a long time, I was working with families that have special needs children, and how that is that experience as a parent, and then trying to understand what the child is experiencing. And then I was like, wait a minute, we all do this. What's it like to be me versus what's it like to be somebody else, and how we interact with that. And I was going to do a training on something just now. What were we talking about? I said, quick, let's record this.
You said something about Montessori.
Okay. Oh, thank you. That's why I have notepads and stickies of every color to remind me.
You need a sticky for a sticky
Yeah, because
when you forget.
okay, I got it now. So one of the things that I'm realizing is we haven't been taught how to jump track. We've only been taught how to keep doing what we've been doing. And we have ideas. Oh, I would like this and I would like that. I want something different. But I don't know what to do about that gap between where I am and where I want to be. So I call it the slippery slopes of transition because a lot can happen in between that time. I refer to it as the hallways of life. You don't think of a hallway as a destination, but they are used frequently to get from one place to another. And they're quite helpful. Without a hallway, I think life would be a lot different. So transitions are the hallways. Trying to make them more interesting. I had this one house and we had a really long hallway and it was so boring. I mean, we put up some cool lights, but it was so boring. So then we decided to just make it a photo gallery. So as you're going through the hallway, this is a nice experience. People are smiling at me from both sides. This is great. So planning the transitions is important. Getting in the right frequency for what it is that we want is how we get to where we're trying to go. So I mentioned, thank you for reminding me of the Montessori schools. I learned a little bit about this when I was helping some special needs families. And if it's happening in one area, it can be happening in another area. So this school, for those who aren't familiar with the Maria Montessori, she invented this school system. And it was founded on, you learn as fast as you learn. You might be in first grade in one subject and sixth grade in another. We learn from each other. You want to be on the floor? You want to be in a chair? What's good for you? Fresh air, cross breeze, and they played classical music in the classroom, and the students helped each other. That's the way that it was set up. But here was the main key in helping these students learn so rapidly. See it with your eye, say it with your mouth, hear it with your ear, write it with your hand. That's 4 different areas of the brain. If you say it, see it, and they would touch things. Ooh, what is this? What does this feel like? What does this sound like? Okay, so I entertain myself.
I was like, why is that there?
Why do I have that on my desk? You have no idea. I am such a clown. But this is also another way that I schedule my transitions. I try to make them fun. If I am dedicated to a task and I want to do it, I want it to be completed is more like it. Do I want to clean my house? Not really. I get grubby and my nose runs and I'm, it's not fun. I want to do something more fun, but I really like it when it's clean. So I've got a couple mottos that I use. Get it done, have more fun. So in the process of doing it, I have a motivation that's keeping me moving through it. All my little mottos, if that one doesn't work, then I'll just go try to find another one. The point about saying it with your mouth and hearing it with your ear, I've said this, I'm not ashamed to repeat myself. I actually, this is so gold that I love repeating it. The vocal cords for ourselves are more than 10 times more powerful than somebody else's voice again and again and again and again through repetition. Now, most people know we've got a unique fingerprint and our eyes are unique and we've got some, unique qualities about ourselves, and the voice is one of them. So everything that we say becomes a program. How we speak to other people, our own ear hears and identifies my voice as my program. So everything I say to somebody else, I'm saying to myself. It has to be really, really good stuff that I'm saying to somebody else because I'm programming myself with my own voice. Uh-oh. What about that guy in the car that just cut me off? I mean, what about him? Of course, he didn't hear me yelling at him from my car. So I'm the only one that got the abuse of this. So I learned to change my own dialogue so that I can be kind to myself. Same thing. I'm in a restaurant. I'm sitting there. This is a beautiful ocean view. I decided to treat myself. And sitting next to me was a lovely couple who looked like they were on the brink of divorce. They called each other names. And my ear heard all of it. And I can't unhear it. And I should have asked to be reseated because it affected me. I just didn't like the way that I felt. It was having an effect on my experience. And I didn't take my own inner authority to alchemize the situation, either by getting up or tuning them out. But one way or the other, it's my responsibility. So if we have to say things to ourselves to get us going in the right direction, say it out loud. You're not crazy for talking to yourself. You're actually highly intelligent. And most people of genius level will talk to themselves. Oh, I got to do this. I'll put this here. Okay, that's good. That's good. I'm done with that. And they're having an inner dialogue because my higher self is the one that gets to operate this brain and operate this body. When I decide that I want my heartbeat to slow down and I have anxiety, I know how to biohack my body. I've taught the calibration activity, crossing the arms, legs, crossing legs at the ankles, close your eyes, you do some breathing, tune yourself in, hemispheres of the brain start integrating. Now I have a full brain. Now I'm not stuck on that. Zzz, zzz, it just keeps shorting out that same negative thought. Zzz, 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 it's like a pinball. It's like, what? Too much. Getting control of ourselves. How do I do that? Constantly managing. Every moment, constantly managing. I have to manage myself because otherwise I'm really no good with other people. If you want to attract people that are of a high caliber, we have to be the high caliber. And as I know that I'm in the process of increasing my personal power, people that you would consider, what's the marketing term? Recruiting up or something like that. I don't really care for the term, but you know what I mean. So I'm already in alignment with that. Now it's not expressing, I'm not driving a Lambo. I wouldn't anyway. It's a rough ride. but my alignment with high quality, excellence, high quality relationships, high quality experiences, high quality products, high quality nutrients. If I'm aligned with that, it doesn't really matter what my address is or what my car looks like. I'm going to attract people of an excellence. So in all the categories of life, let's just say there's 12 categories. If I'm flying high in one and I'm down in another, it's all going to kind of level out. But if I'm flying high, really high in one, the others will come up, right? So don't worry about it. As long as you're, moving in the right direction. Now, don't put your head in the stand that there's work to, not work, that there's attention that needs to go into some improvements. Just pick something. I'm not trying, I can't reinvent every aspect of my whole life. It's too much. It's overwhelming and most likely not going to finish it, not going to get the job done. So there's a saying, how do you eat an elephant? Well, hopefully not at all, but
one bite at a time.
Buffalo, whatever. Yes, one bite at a time. So in industry, it's called CPI, constant process improvement. It's never done. C is for constant. So if you know that it's constant, don't worry about it. Little improvement here, a little improvement there. And all these subtle modifications, they add up and they start building momentum. I learned about this word in business, and it's a Japanese word, kaizen, Kaizen. It's the same thing. It's an always improving process. They're always modifying. So somewhere I wrote that, my motto is that I have a Kaizen life. I love my Kaizen life. So that kind of puts me, that lets me off the hook that I need to get it all done. Because I will beat myself up mentally that that's not done and that's not done. And and there's an inner dialogue with some of us that's quite critical. So that kindness is really important. But for some of us, we have to be able to justify being kind to ourselves. So CPI, you're never going to be done. Hopefully that'll take a little pressure off, a little kinder. The Montessori techniques. How do you want to program yourself, in what you want to become? You see it with your eye. What are you looking at? Are you looking at beautiful things? When you see it, do you admire it or are you envious? I've been both. Hi, my name is Mint. I've been both. What are you saying? What is your ear hearing? Do you have a bunch of different colored Post-its? What are you writing down? What's important to you? I actually wrote it down. I wrote structure. You can't see it. Structure the slippery slopes of transition. So how do I do that? Give myself a break, be a little bit nicer to myself. And then as I decide that I'm just a little bit nicer, I attract nicer people. Critical of myself, who am I attracting? Some other nitpicker, somebody else who's got something to say about, one little thing. I was like, don't worry about it. You got 99% there. Don't worry about it. It's good enough. I have another motto, better is better. A lot of these will be in my upcoming book. What I think of you is none of my business. So I hope everybody gets a copy of that when it comes out. It'll be coming soon. I got it lined up. It's so juicy. And these are what I call mottos to live by. I call them business mottos to live by. Because if you apply them to your business is less judgmental. We're less judgmental of our business than we are of our personal self. That is something that with the human brain, the way that we're wired, because business hasn't been around in my life for multiple generations, but my DNA has. It's been in my ancestry. So all of that gets to be expressed now. I can't deal with everybody's thing all at once. So we'll just deal with what we can right now. Why is it so important to do the inner work? Because the outer work is hard. It's like pushing a river. We can't make people behave and do anything any different than what we do. But as we keep aligning ourselves with what it is that is in our highest value, more people come along that are of that same resonance. And I'm so delighted with the people that I'm meeting. I am thrilled. And the reason I'm so thrilled is because I know I did that. I attracted these people into my life. In one of the previous trainings, I said, who am I looking for? Where are they? And what do I need to change about myself? The third is the most important because the other two fall into place. If I change this about myself, I'm going to be attracting who I'm looking for. And where they are is wherever I am. Not so much in my living room. But as I expose myself to the public, when I'm out and about, wherever I am, I'm in a restaurant, I'm in line at a store. And last Friday, I was in a park. And somebody just walked right up to me. That's amazing. We've been communicating every day since. And I'm so, so happy because these are the type of people that I want to be around. Actually, you're the type of people that I want to be around. People who care, people who want to tune in and are just a little bit curious about maybe there's something of value here. That's what's important. We always find what we seek. So what are we looking for? You know what you're looking for? Do you know who you're looking for? They're in that 100 list. Remember that training? Write down 100 names of people that you admire for some reason. It could be from a book, a movie. It could be a character in a movie. It could be somebody, you know, from history. It could be somebody that you know in flesh and blood. But write those characteristics down and see how they resonate with you. Because listen, you wouldn't write it down that you see it in them if you can't see it in yourself. So there's a saying, you spot it, you got it. And I spell that with a lowercase G-O-D. You got it. Because that is how we are. We're all little gods and little creators making the world the way that it is. And most of the reason that it is the way that it is because we haven't taught how to be intentional creators. It's been too hard. We were not taught the easy way. So the easy way is with the inner focus, and then we become a magnet so that life is easy and it is fun. And people take as long as they take. I was very, very happy to meet somebody that I'm mentoring. I've been mentoring this guy for about 3 years now. And he said, Mint, I really want to try those nutritionals that you talk about. I'm ready. I've made a lot of changes already. And I think this is the time that I'll be successful at making more changes. So it doesn't matter to me how long it takes for anybody to respond, because I'm going to be consistent with myself, and they'll either be communicating with me or they'll just disappear and I don't even know what happened to them. I leave the message, you know, I call, I leave a voicemail, I text, whatever. If I don't get a response, I don't get a response. I don't have any dedication to that, but often somebody will reply, I'm so glad that you reached out again. I was really going through a hard time and I just couldn't communicate at that time. But thanks for remembering me. It's nice to be remembered. I'll often reach out to people what I call intuitively. If their name pops in my mind, I got to write it down. I got to call that person. And sadly, when I don't follow that intuition, I miss my time window. So one of my dear friends and a new customer needed help reordering. And I had a lot going on in my life. I'm not going to give my excuses, but that's what I said. And I didn't make time for this person. They didn't get their reorder. They wound up getting sick. They wound up going to the hospital. And I think, Mint, if you would have taken those 15 minutes and helped to ensure that they didn't have any gaps in their products, they wouldn't have got sick. I know that. I absolutely know that, because the human body is pretty consistent in how it functions. And now somebody's on antibiotics. Now they're going to have to rebuild their gut. And now they've lost that time. It's just not necessary. It's really important for us to trust that there is enough time. So my fear of lack, that I didn't have enough time, it's really bitter pill for me to swallow, because I care about people. I really care about people. So this person is recovering, and I will keep in touch, and I will respond to those inclinations much more readily. Not just outwardly for others, but also for myself. Hey, let's skip that today. How about if we just do something a little bit more low key, a little better, a little more kindness? And then the last thing I want to say about this is that, of course, there is enough time for everything. Anything that's really important to us, there is enough time for. There's enough money for everything too. If it's important to us, we'll find the money. We'll find a way. A lot of people use the analogy, if I gave you a house and all you had to do was pay tax, could you come up with the money? Most people could come up with the money because they see the value. I'll find it. I'll borrow it. I'll get a loan. I'll sell something. It's not that much. If all I got to come up was $22,000 for, a piece of real estate, that's a great deal. We'll find a way. So when we're talking to ourselves and others, we have to know what the value is in what we're doing so that we find a way. It can be fun. Or whatever you think is fun. And I kind of touched on how often are you following up with people with my story about my friend. And we're designed as humans to always want the nouveau. Go back, look at who your customers are, look at who your influencers are, and just reach out. If they don't reach back, just send them love. Keep going. But it's a pretty good habit to have. Just keep reviewing. What we have is needed by everyone. So what I realized is there is absolutely no synthetic that the body will magnetically draw to it. But a funny thing that I noticed is it's like with those greens, I'm a magnet for that. Can't wait to get it in. We're a magnet for good things. Know that you're a magnet. Know that we're a magnet. You can't see it, right? When you have two magnets, you can't see that energy between them. But because we can feel it, we have an experience. So that's how we believe it. I can't see it, so I don't believe it. But when I have an experience, then I know it. How do we know these things? Well, by getting in the game, by practicing and doing it. So I told someone earlier that we've got a bunch of scientists who have nothing to do. So they decided to calculate if you took every human being on Earth, 8 billion people, and you removed all the empty space between every single little proton, neutron, all those little tiny things in there. If we took the empty space out, which is 99.999% of everything, all humans would fit into the size of a sugar cube. A sugar cube? That seems impossible. But it's not, because we're light bodies. We're light bodies and we're magnoelectric. Can you see electricity? No. Can you see magnetism? No. But we can experience it. And that's what we're doing. This life, it's an experience. It's a magnoelectric experience of a light body. So lighten up. Why not? And another thing that I thought was super interesting was that plants eat light. And when we eat plants, we eat light. And it fuels our light body. It's so, the cells are so ready to receive. And as soon as there's anything mixed in with that 100% pure, the cells are not so ready to receive. It takes work to convert and sort and try to process this ingredient and that ingredient. The body does the best that it can. It'll try to sort out the heavy metals and sort out the oils and, you know, do what it can do. But it's more work. And as long as we're taxing the body, then we're taking away our own life force energy. It's as simple as don't drink ice water, because the body would have to burn calories, would have to use your life force energy to convert it into something a little warmer so that it can be processed. Putting things on the skin like materials that are not organic, right? It's not cotton, wool, linen. The skin has a frequency, about 100, and cotton is about 100. And that works out really well. And the skin can do its job. It can push things out, right? What it doesn't need, it can push it out of the body, and it can also resist from coming into the body. And it has a huge job to do. But if we're wearing synthetic clothing and using chemicals, it makes it harder. It's not that it can't be done. We do it all the time. We're phenomenal. We are divine. It's amazing. We are amazing. We're actually really hard to kill. that is cool. But why make it hard? Make everything a little bit easier, just a little here and a little bit there. Get the gut right. The brain function goes up. The intuition goes up. Oh, it's a gut feeling. I have a gut feeling. Why would you have a gut feeling? Because my gut is healthy and it's communicating, and I'm acknowledging that there's a communication happening within me. This is amazing. All technology, all is based on the human body. Isn't that wonderful? All this AI is based on the eye, the intelligence, the divine intelligence that is this vessel that we call a body. I'm not my body. I have a body. I'm not my thoughts. I have thoughts. I'm not what I do, but I do things, right? So we'll just separate what is authentic versus inauthentic. Get going on this job right here. We're so eager to run out there and tell everybody and, you know, share and with all of our passion, and this ignorance on fire. And sometimes it works and sometimes it backfires. Taking those minutes, believing that there is enough time, knowing there's enough time. We start experiencing more time. I get more done. I'm amazed. And sometimes I'll ask for help. I was like, I don't know how y'all can help me with this, but all my little energy helpers around here, can you get this thing done in half an hour? It usually takes me 2. I'm a little short on time today. I'm amazed how things happen. Now, that particular day I'm thinking of, the whole computer system went down. So I was off the hook for everything. I didn't have to do anything. And you never know how you're going to get help. So don't ask for how I want help. just asking that I need help. Communicating with non-physical, recognizing that energy, that magnetism, that electricity, all that's out there that we can't like readily identify. Oh, that's magnetic, and it's a little difficult, especially when we don't have any programming for us to be able to identify this. But know that it's there, know that you're super powerful, and that whatever you do for yourself is as much as anything that can be done for you. I can't love another more than I love myself. I can't receive love from another more than I love myself. So that's why it's important to mind your own business. There's lots of trainings up this particular channel. Thank you for providing so many great training opportunities, Timoteo. Your YouTube channel, Asante Organic Alliance. I love that name because that is how we just managed to come together. It wasn't like a calculated thing where, oh, I'm picking you, I'm picking. No, we find each other. We are a magnet for each other. And my purpose, my passion, my mission, what my life is about, why I chose to come into this funny circus, is a really big mission. And I want to have fun along the way. And when we do it together, it is more fun. It's not this hard job. We have a job to do and we'll just do it. We'll have a good time along the way. I have no words to be able to express how important my colleagues, I don't even know if that's the right word, but my friends, those who are listening right now, you're more important to me than I could ever express. I don't have words for that. Your life means a lot to me. And a lot of times it means more to me than it often does to others. You're important to me. I thank you. And I'm available. Reach out to me. You can find me on Facebook, Mintarella. It's two words, Mintarella. And I'm happy if you have something in particular. What my teacher said is whatever's happening in life now is the lesson. So we didn't go on a book, chapter 1, 2, 3. Life tells you what we're doing now. It'll present the situation and the circumstance. And when you come up against it and you're like, whoa, what was that? Is this a brick wall? What am I dealing with here? That's the opportunity. When emotions come up, that's the opportunity. There are a lot of people who coach and teach, and they're therapists and they do, past life and regression and so on and so forth. I don't because I'm an efficiency expert, because I know how energy works. And I know the only power to do anything is in the present moment. So if I go somewhere in my mind, if I go into the past, and if I let my mind travel, that's what happens. I'm no longer in this present moment. I'm in some old story. The future, if I am daydreaming about something and I'm perceiving it as a future, it will always be a future. I'll never get there. It'll be like the hamster on the wheel. I have a video of these two wheels going round and round, these little mice on the wheel or whatever the animal was. And I took a video of it and I posted it and I said, who's winning? Where's the progress? It's a lot of energy. It's a lot of energy, but where's the progress? Are you really being effective? So now is the present moment. We're effective now. I have traveled into the past in my mind in the present. That's kind of funny, but I was the observer. It wasn't me having the experience. I recall the story as an observer. And as the observer, I didn't have all those emotions and opinions. I could see his perspective and her perspective and their perspective. And I saw a whole picture of it. And it all made more sense to me. That's not the same thing. So if you want to do any activities like that, reach out to me. Leverage. It's not as hard as we've been taught. We'll make it easy. That being said, I promised that I would save just a couple minutes. Laura Lee has an experience pertaining to Canadian shipments. And I just wanted to give you just a couple minutes. You mentioned that it's in progress. So can you tell us what the situation was and where it is now? And if you had any potential suggestions?
Yes, I had used a credit card to do my first order and I processed it and I didn't, and then I used that same credit card to set up auto ships. Well, I thought I had it all set up correctly. And then I come to find out that, and when I originally, when I do it, it gives me, because I have double authentication on my, I still have it on my computer and a lot of the credit cards. So I have to give, I do it and then it'll send me an authorization number and I put the code in. But when I did it for auto ship, because that was not happening, they blocked the card thinking it was fraudulent. Unbeknownst to me, they didn't, it may have looked like, when I come to find out later, there were 7 things that happened that they stopped because they thought it might be fraudulent and they were trying to protect me because there was not this code that went through it all the time. Even though I use that same card on those other platforms on a regular basis, all of a sudden it was stopping it. So when I was telling Mint yeah, the other day about it, I said I finally figured it out, and I did a complaint to the credit card company, and I got this letter back from them saying, we recognize your complaint and we're looking into it. I thought, well, that didn't help me out for other, other things. But I said to Min, I said, I used to have a US bank account and a US credit card to go with it for traveling. So I'm going to look into that and see if I can get that set up so that this does not keep happening, because it'll be a different type of credit card and I won't put as much double authentication on it to see if that will help out. But unbeknownst to me, but one of my other credit cards in the meantime, right at that same time, I was checking both of them out. They called me, and one, I don't smoke anymore. I haven't smoked for 35 years, and I certainly didn't purchase twice at a cigar shop. So one of my cards was used for fraudulent things. And we have to be careful because sometimes you'll go to buy something very innocently and there's things happening around the bend. And most cards, I don't have a lot of limit on when I'm using it for online purchases for that particular reason. Anyway, so I'll report back to you just in case that may happen to somebody else.
Thank you very much for navigating that. And I feel that way about most of my life. Not everybody is designed to bounce. And I used to say, why me? Why me? I'm the only one here. But I realized that I am designed to bounce. So oftentimes I will navigate some very unfortunate circumstances. Well, they're always fortunate because I choose to navigate them and be a victor over them. So the appearance of them being unfortunate is what's changing to me. Now, when something comes, and my first reaction now is everything is always working out for my best interest, especially when it doesn't seem like it. I wonder where's the gold lining for this. And as I navigate it with a better attitude, I always find a gold lining. I expect it and I look for it. Has to be. That being said, I'll be the one to fall down the stairs and then, crawl back bloody myself up and crawl back up and say, hey, the third step is loose. Make sure you step on the right-hand side and hold on. Because I don't want other people to do that. I'm a very resilient person. I'm grateful that I'm made this way, but I know that some are not. So I do take it upon myself to share as many of my experiences so that it can be efficient for everybody else. I will not tell you all the stuff that I went through to determine how to be so efficient because a lot of it wasn't fun. But I learned. I for sure learned, and now I embrace it. And now when something happens to me, I feel really good about it. I was like, yeah, because I got it. I got it like that. Oh. So that being said, I appreciate our time. Thank you again to Mateo for being such a wonderful host. And I know that you have some family commitments at this time. So if we need to keep moving the time, moving the day, whatever it is, we'll keep adjusting so that everybody gets a chance to participate. And I know for some of us, we've got another call coming up soon in a few minutes.
And the
So-
link to find that one is in the group, I assume.
Absolutely. It's a pinned message in our group chat. Fabulous. So I will look forward to seeing everybody again soon, and feel free to peruse all the other videos on the Asante Organic Alliance YouTube channel hosted by Tim Mateo. Thank you so much. And until next time, I love you.
Miss Resilient.
It helps.